Well, hello! Welcome back to my channel. Jashana here to talk about some friggin' books. So I acquired some new books recently. Who's surprised? At least one of them was a gift. Two of them at least were gifts. I think just two of them, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves me. So let's get into it. First, we have a couple that I purchased for myself. I can't remember if I paid for these or if I got a gift card. I think I just paid for them myself. And we have The House in the Cerulean Sea paperback. I wanted the paperback for reread purposes because that's what I like to do with my faves, is own them in both versions of the paperback and the hardcover. So I'm very excited for that. I'm sure I will reread this year because I love it so much. And then, because I had gone to the used bookstore a few months back or a month or so ago and bought what I thought was the first book in this series, but 'twas the second, not the first. So I bought the first, and that is The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin, book one of the Inheritance trilogy. So now I have 1 and 2, and hopefully I fucking like them. Oh, God. And then the third one is The Kingdom of Gods. So yay for that. I have heard from friends that this series of hers tends to be more of a favorite between the one duology, the Dreamblood duology, and the Inheritance trilogy. It seems like most people prefer the Inheritance trilogy. I do still need to read the second book in the Dreamblood duology, and I've heard that people like that more than the first book. I don't know. At any rate, I'm just really hoping that I really enjoy this trilogy. And then yes, I did get 2 gifted to me. The first was sent by the lovely Vish at Books with V, my little babe. She got me Mermaids Lore because I'm collecting these myths, legends, and lore books. So now I have vampires, fairies, dragons, and mermaids. Yeah, I'm excited. These are, again, not ones that you read from front to back. They're just kind of peruse them, check them out. But I do like reading them to see the different things. It's very interesting to me. And then a subscriber sent me a book, Terrell. Thank you so much. This was on my Amazon wish list. Angelo I. Davis, Are Prisons Obsolete? If you've been here for a minute, you know that prison industrial complex abolition is something I'm interested in and learning more about. I read a couple of nonfiction books last year regarding this topic, and I had some other ones on my wish list, this being one. And it's a very small, little short thing, so I am excited to get to it. We have abolitionist alternatives as one of the chapters, which is awesome because that's kind of what I'm still curious about. I understand the cause. I understand the desire to not have the prison industrial complex. For me personally, just the research I've seen and the implications and the social repercussions of it. But my question that I'm still looking into is, what alternatives do people have then? What's the other options? And it's one of those things where it's so hard for us to even imagine a world without prisons because we are so indoctrinated to believe that we need them, right? So I'm still kind of grappling with that, thinking on that and learning more about it. So thank you very much, Terrell. And then yesterday, I went to the couple of local used bookstores that I tend to go to and unhauled a few things. And I'm really mad because I do have 2 books to unhaul that I forgot, and they're both brand fucking new, so I probably would have gotten a decent amount of credit for them. But I did get some store credit from Changing Hands. I didn't get a ton. But they did take a couple things, and then I went to Bookman's, and Bookman's, I had $6, and then they gave me $15. Yes, they gave me $15. So I got a few things. From Changing Hands, I did get a new book. I didn't get a used one. They didn't have used ones of this, but I kind of wanted to buy the new one anyways for support. One of my favorite reads last year that I read in December, Ring Shout by P. Djeli Clark, and not one of my faves from December, just one of my favorites from the entire year that I read in December. And yeah, this was just such a great novella. I definitely wanted to own it to reread it in the future. This dust jacket is like loosey-goosey. I don't know why, really, but it is what it is. The other one was like all lopsided. Yeah, now I have this. Yay. I don't know where I'm going to put it on my shelves. I mean, it's technically, it's like historical fantasy, I guess, but it's also a little bit horror, but I'll just put it in the fantasy shelves. And then from Bookman's, I think they only have used books. I don't know that I've ever seen, oh no, they do have some new towards the front, but most of their books, they have a shit ton. Most of them are used, and the fantasy, the SFF collection is vast. It is mostly mass market paperbacks, but not entirely. And this series, I have read these 2 books, and I haven't continued with the series, but I own the continuation of the series in mass market paperback, and eventually I want to get these in. I think I'm trying to decide which ones I want, but I think I want the UK big floppy paperbacks. The only thing is they come in, like some of the later books, there's like volume 1 and volume 2. They're split up because they're so huge. And that is Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin, Game of Thrones, and Clash of Kings. I read these on audiobook in 2019. And then I started Storm of Swords, but I was getting discombobulated and I put it down for the time. And I want to reread these in like physical form and then continue with the series and finally actually finish it. I got distracted with so many other things and just watching the TV show. I think it was like I didn't want to be doing both at the same time, like reading the book series for the first time while still watching the show. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just got a couple of, dinged up, cheap. They were both like $3 or $4 or something like that. Eventually, I will get different copies, but for now, this is what I'm going to do the initial read on. And then the next one that I got, the last one that I got, was also a used book, and I took the dust jacket off already because the whole point of this was that my collection was not totally complete of the hardcovers of this series, and I have different sleeves for the hardcovers, thanks to Elle, who gifted them to me for my birthday. Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, the novella bind-up for the Throne of Glass series. I also, I do. I have Tower of Dawn in hardcover. It's paperback that I don't have and never will have Tower of Dawn because I am never going to reread that book. But yeah, now I have all of the hardcovers and I have these beautiful dust jackets. Like, they're just so freaking gorgeous. I can't remember if I did an unhaul of these recently, but since it's only 2 books, I'm just going to add it in here. If I did already talk about it, I will edit this out. I talked about this, that Brandy had gifted me several of the books in this series, and I already owned one, which was like book 3 or 4 or something, because I didn't realize. But so I had 2 copies, so I'm getting rid of the one I did have from before, A Conspiracy of Kings by Megan Whalen Turner. Brand new. I've never read it. But yeah, I don't need 2 copies of book 4 or whatever. And then this one, I bought it last summer, and I thought it was more of a fantasy than it actually is. And a couple people I know who have read it also kind of had that expectation that it was more fantasy than it is. It's contemporary fantasy or urban fantasy. It's set in our world, and there is magical stuff happening. I don't think it's magical realism, but maybe, I don't know. At any rate, it isn't what I thought it was going to be, and I just, based on what I've heard about it after people have read it, I don't think I will love it, and I don't want to go into a book being like, I don't think I'm going to like this, and then rate it poorly, especially because it is from a marginalized author, and I just want to put it in the hands of someone who would appreciate it more than I think I will, and that is A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. Fucking gorgeous cover. Like, so pretty, so gorgeous. But yeah, it is young adult, and like I said, it's a fantasy, but it's like an urban fantasy or contemporary fantasy. And the young adult aspect of it, again, just from what I've heard from people, that it is a little bit, it reads very young. And again, I'm an old bitch, and I just don't know that I would appreciate it. And I think it could go in the hands of some teenager or younger person who would greatly appreciate it and really enjoy it. And then this isn't a book necessarily, but there are books on it that I'm going to talk about. But I did also recently upgrade my ebook situation. The e-reader I was using before was a Kindle in this gross green thing, nice and leather, so that's cool. This was gifted to me, like just given to me. It was used by one of my ex's moms. She had a newer Kindle and was like, hey, you want this? And I was like, sure. I didn't want to buy a Kindle previously because I don't read ebooks a shit ton. So it just, in my brain, I was like, it doesn't make sense to go buy a new Kindle when I don't really read ebooks all that much. So when she gave this to me, I used it, and it's this really old, I don't know shit about Kindles. I don't know what generation this is, but with like the little hamburger icon thing. And it's touchscreen, but no light. So this case had a light that I would use sometimes. But yeah, I don't know, it's just old. And it recently, in the last like couple months, I barely used the damn thing. I would charge it fully and then set it down, and I wouldn't use it for weeks. And then when I would open it, it would be dead. And like I turned it off. So I know it wasn't just sitting there running, and like it shuts itself off after a while anyways. But yeah, it was just not holding a charge for shit. I swear to God, if I looked at it, it died. So I said, you know what? I need to fucking just suck it up and get myself a new Kindle. So I did, and I got this little pink case for it, and I got the plum color one, but I did also get a couple of ebooks, and I got a few more NetGalley eARCS recently also. And so I was like, it makes sense. And honestly, since I've gotten this, I don't know if it's just the newness of it and like, ooh, there's a fucking cat here, get away from me. I don't know if it's just the newness of it making me want to use it more, but I've been reading more ebooks. But also I did have a couple of NetGalley eARCS. I still have a couple to get to. But some books that I have actually purchased recently. It's not color, because I didn't get a color. It's just a paperwhite. It's like the new waterproof one. I don't know. Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nhi Vo. I bought that because, well, I had listened to it on audio from the library and realized that I didn't know what the fuck was happening. I was like, that was a bad idea to listen to it on audio. So I wanted to read it in physical form or in ebook form, and from the library I would have had to wait, so I just bought it. And then I also got, because again, from the library, they didn't have physical copies, and I don't even know if they had, yeah, they had ebook copies, but I just bought them. The Haunting of Tramcar 15, or 015, Haunting of Tramcar 015 by P. Djeli Clark, and then A Dead Djinn in Cairo, also by P. Djeli Clark. And both of these books, I can't remember which one's first. I think one is a short story, and then one is a novella, and they are prequels to the novel that he has coming out this year, which I think is his first full-length novel, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And it's A Master of Djinn. And yeah, these books, the short story and novella are prequels to that. So I wanted to check those out because I'm very excited for that now that I have read Ring Shout and loved it so much. I have heard from some people who have read more of his works that Ring Shout is still their favorite, but I just want to check out his other stuff. And then this one, Bethany, I believe, is the one who was talking about this. I think she was talking about it when we did the live show on New Year's Eve on her channel. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker. Sorry, Bethany, if I'm just spreading lies about you. Rain and Ruin by J.D. Evans. And honestly, I can't remember what it's about. Let me check real quick. Okay, so the synopsis doesn't really give a whole hell of a lot, but from what I remember, it's fantasy and romance, and there's the two, I think it's like an enemies to lovers type thing, maybe? Could be wrong. And yeah, she was, just the way she was talking about it, I was like, sounds intriguing. I think it might be indie. I don't think I talked about this one either. This is what happens with ebooks, is I forget about them. Or I forget that I like bought them. And then yeah, I forget that they're on my I have so many ebooks that I haven't gotten to ever. I also got Wolf Song by TJ Klune. This is, I think, a quartet, right? I think it's a series with 4 books. There's Wolf Song, Bear Song, Brother Song? I don't know. But it's fantasy, paranormal, I think romance, but I can't quite recall. I just want to read everything by TJ Klune, basically. And then the NetGalley eARCS that I got, they don't have covers, so I'll just pop those in. I got Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell, and I have read that already. I'm going to film my review today, actually. The Chosen and the Beautiful by Nhi Vo. So fucking excited for that. Great Gatsby reimagining with Jordan Baker as a queer Asian woman. I think she's actually also multiracial, biracial, and she's adopted, and yeah, I can't wait. And then another one I'm super excited for is The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I got that from NetGalley. Also, that one I'm going to read first before The Chosen and the Beautiful because it comes out first. But yeah, I'm very fucking pumped. And I think that is everything. This ended up being longer than I thought it was going to be. Jesus. I kind of forgot about all the ebooks, like I said. That happens. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.